Have you caught yourself grabbing that remote and turning it up and everyone else in the house looks at you like, what's wrong? Maybe you have an issue with your hearing. The Heiser Hearing Institute is really, it's iconic here in Louisville. It's been here forever, a great history helping out kids and adults like you and I. Brett Bachman joins us now. Brett, I got to tell you, man, you come in here and you're going to give us a little bit of a history lesson. But first of all, if there is any field at all that has evolved and become better through technology, hearing's got to be close to the top.
It's amazing. We've come a long way. I think it was one of the King Louis that used to sit in this chair in his throne, and he had a huge sound collector behind his head so that he could hear and it would focus in the sound because he had lost his hearing. And so we've come much further along since then. I have some products here that one of our audiologists, who we call our resident hoarder, has, and thank God she is, because we've got some interesting stuff here that we've had. It shows kind of the evolution of what we have.
Yeah, you've got the latest and greatest, but since 1948 here in Louisville. So if you would, show us some of these devices and how far we have come, because some folks, it's not that long ago, you maybe remember some of these, right?
Well, maybe. Personally, I don't know exactly how old these are. Right. I know that compared to what we have now, they look ancient. But this right here is like a little horn that you stick in, and it concentrates all the hearing. And it kind of, this was like the modern, I don't know where the camera is, how can I get this in there? There we go. It was like the modern ear horn that you used to have. This was the advanced version that they did, all right? And then we've got this, so people that could play their stereo and their recorder, or stenograph, I think they called it back then. That could be wrong, who knows? But they would have to plug this into their radio, and so they could hear it. There was no wireless back then.
That's a little cumbersome there. That looks like a little much. Things have changed. Okay, give us some more history. I love this.
All right. So the testing that used to be done before we had all this modern electronic stuff is they used where they would hit the tuning forks and put it close to your ear to see when that tune came out, and then you wouldn't be able to hear a certain frequency, and they could measure that and say you had hearing loss. A very interesting thing, I'm actually going to have to take my glasses off and put on these and go blind for a second, but these actually have hearing aids embedded in them, so there's a
cool
sound collection device here to focus it in, and then there would be a device that would take it in and put it in your ears. Now, whoever had this could not see, because I can't see with them on, but, and then the last thing that we have historically is this used to be where if you were talking to your husband or your wife or your partner, this would go in their ear and you talk into your microphone so that they could hear you.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, we've come so far to what we have now, which, I mean,
let's be honest, a lot of it is, Brett, it is for me, it's vanity. It's like, I don't want people to think I'm getting older and I need a hearing aid. And now you can't even detect them. It's beautiful. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I don't know. I don't think you've aged since I've got here. So,
you're good at what you do, baby.
So this right here, if you can even see it, is a device that we can...
Yeah, hold that up there. Let's see if we can take a look at it, get that camera in close.
That now goes on goes in the ear. Okay,
so you don't even see it at all.
You can't see it. And we have ones that are even further embedded that you can't see at all. Here you might see a little bit of a wire on it, maybe, but the subscription models that we have that where we replace them every 3 months and they just stay in your ear are working out very well. And even the ones that are more powerful that have a bigger earpiece, you still can't even see. I mean, they're that tiny.
Wow. Technology has come a long way.
Well, yeah, and the last thing is kind of like, we all evolved over COVID. And so what Heiser was able to do, and we'll go into the reasons why it's so important that people have their hearing, is we developed these kits now that if somebody, I can put this up there, there we go.
Hold that just so we can get a better look at it. Hold that for just a second. There we go. Okay, and what do these do exactly?
This is our new touch-free program. So, we had a lot of calls during the deep isolation that we were in where I can't leave my house, and we understood. We also understood that we wanted you to be able to see and talk to your doctors over on the line or online. And so what we wanted to be able to do is make sure you had your hearing in your devices. We would take this to it, and inside it we have kind of like a mini kiosk that has a hearing test on it. You put in our you put on our headphones, you put on that, and it does a simple hearing test that we can tell whether or not the hearing aids are tuned as much as they should be.
Wow. Brett, I have to ask you now, I think because a lot of people are thinking in this direction when they're watching this, is okay, the kiddos at home, they're not going to be able to have hearing tests or whatever at school, and maybe, you know, teachers are probably more accustomed to being able to detect a hearing issue. So for parents out there, when should they know that they need to go to the Heiser Hearing Institute? What kind of indicators? I mentioned turning up the volume on the remote,
right.
But what other indicators would be, hey, maybe I have an issue here?
Well, part of it too is if they're having a difficulty on the phone, and we know now how important that is, or if they or if they're having difficulty talking to their doctors during virtual care. You know, all those things have become more and more important, especially amongst our elderly, because as the spikes come and go, they're getting more isolated, or they get to go out a little bit. But we want to make sure that they're continuing to be part of a vibrant community, and everything's moving online now. So what we're trying to do is make sure that those devices are tuned, that they can do that. And the most amazing thing about this is, you know, one, we provide all these different items and things that we can do, but also 100% of the proceeds from any of our hearing aid sales, which is something that people will need anyway, go into funding all the community programs that we have. You know, from the school for kids that are born deaf or hard of hearing, to our Listen Up project, which allows people who are volunteering either at their church or a nonprofit to get free hearing aids. All of that stuff is funded through what our clinic is able to do and charge for.
Wow, that is truly a win-win. So not only can you take care of the issues, and before you go, I think it's important to point out, you've educated me, hearing is so closely connected to cognitive issues, you know, whether it be dementia, whatever, because when you can't hear and you can't decipher, your brain has to work in a different way. So I can understand where, you know, you may be missing out on life. It may be time to call the Heiser Hearing Institute, right, Brett?
Well, I definitely do. You know, and one of the things that we were talking about is you might become more tired towards the end of the day. It's because your brain's so focused on trying to decipher what it's hearing. So, yes, thank you for allowing me to come on today.
No, you're fantastic. You're a great resource, and I'm telling you, and what a rich history in helping out children and also helping out folks like myself who may be a little bit vain and they want to make sure that that's not detectable. You guys are state of the art. Brett, always good to have you on. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, coming up here, how's your heating and air doing? Okay, CNL is coming on the show here. My friend Mr. Clark, he's the owner, and he's going to talk about why that's important, a family-owned business, and also, hey, make sure that air conditioner is working. That's coming up next on Wave 3 Listens. We're live.